They told you success is about hustle, about discipline, about wanting it bad enough. They lied, because right now, as you're listening to this, there's a mechanism inside your mind actively preventing you from having what you claim you want. And it's not laziness. It's not fear. It's something far more precise. Something science documented decades ago, then conveniently forgot to mention. Maxwell Maltz figured it out in 1960. He was a plastic surgeon, and he noticed something strange. He'd perform reconstructive surgery on patients. Perfect work. Physical transformation complete. But some of them? They'd look in the mirror and still see the old face. Their external reality had changed. Their internal image hadn't. That's when Maltz discovered the mechanism. He called it the self-image. And here's what he proved in psycho-cybernetics. You cannot act in a way that contradicts your internal self-image. Not for long. Not successfully. Your nervous system won't allow it. Think about that. You don't live in reality. You live in the reality your self-image permits. Let me show you how this works. On the surface level, consciously you say you want wealth. You set goals, you take action, you do the work. But deep in your psyche, in the parts you don't have conscious access to, there's a blueprint, an identity, and that identity has a permission level. It's like software. Your conscious mind is the user interface. Your self-image is the operating system, and the operating system has root access. It decides what's allowed, what's safe, what fits the pattern of who you believe yourself to be. If that internal blueprint says, "I'm someone who struggles," guess what your reality becomes? A struggle. If it says, "People like me don't have that kind of money," your brain will sabotage every opportunity that contradicts that belief. Not because you're weak, because your nervous system is designed to maintain consistency. Here's where it gets dark. Your psyche doesn't prioritize your dreams. It prioritizes survival. And to your ancient brain, survival means predictability. It means staying within known parameters. Even if those parameters are a prison, your subconscious runs a cost-benefit analysis on everything. And if wealth, success, or freedom registers as a threat to your identity, your brain classifies it as dangerous. It triggers the same alarm systems as physical danger. Your nervous system literally treats success like a predator. This is why people self-sabotage right before breakthrough. It's not bad luck, it's the self-image defending itself. You get close to a level of wealth or recognition that doesn't match your internal identity, and suddenly, mysteriously, everything falls apart. You make a catastrophic decision. You pick a fight. You ghost the opportunity. Your brain pulled the emergency brake. Now, here's the part they really don't want you understanding. The mechanism isn't just personal, it's cultural, collective. You inherit these permission levels from family systems, from social conditioning, from the economic tier you were born into. Your parents had beliefs about money, spoken and unspoken. Those beliefs encoded into your nervous system before you could talk. Before you could think critically, they became part of your baseline reality, the water you swim in. Maybe in your house, money was associated with corruption, with losing yourself, with becoming one of them. So now, unconsciously, your brain links financial success with moral failure. You can't pursue wealth without triggering guilt. And guilt is one of the most powerful stop signals your nervous system has. Or maybe money meant survival, stress, fighting, scarcity. Your system learned that resources equal danger. So now, even when you have money, you can't relax into it. You burn through it. You create crises, because calm abundance doesn't match your survival blueprint. This is the glass ceiling nobody talks about. Not the external one, the internal one. And it's invisible because it operates below conscious thought. You can't see it, you can only see its effects, the pattern of returning to the same baseline. No matter what you do, some people grow easily, naturally. You watch them and think they're lucky. They're not lucky. Their self-image permits growth. Their internal operating system doesn't flag expansion as dangerous. So, opportunities don't register as threats. They register as options. But for others, every level up triggers immune response. The nervous system fights it. Because growth means leaving behind the identity you've known. And to your ancient brain, that identity is you. Destroying it feels like death. Listen, this isn't motivational, this is mechanical. Your self-image creates a thermostat. When your external reality gets too far above it, you self-correct downward. When it drops too far below, you push back up. You orbit your set point. That's why lottery winners go broke. The money didn't match their self-image. So their behavior unconsciously eliminated the contradiction. They returned to baseline, because the self-image is more powerful than circumstance. You can have all the strategy in the world, all the opportunity, but if your self-image hasn't given permission, you will find a way to fail. Your brain will filter out information that leads to success. It'll amplify risks. It'll create blind spots exactly where you need to see clearly. So, what changes it? You can't logic your way into a new identity. The self-image doesn't speak logic. It speaks evidence, felt experience, repeated proof. You have to give your nervous system new data that contradicts the old pattern, but in doses small enough that your system doesn't panic, small enough that it registers as safe. Quantum leaps backfire. Your self-image can't integrate them. Your brain labels them as anomalies, not real, and it works to restore equilibrium. But gradual expansion? That the system can absorb. You expose yourself to the next level. You let your nervous system acclimate. You prove to your subconscious that this new baseline is survivable. Then you expand again. Now let's go deeper. Carl Jung introduced archetypes, universal patterns of behavior embedded in the collective unconscious. These aren't abstract ideas. They're active forces shaping how you move through the world. Money has its own archetypal patterns, specific roles people unconsciously play with resources. Financial behavior isn't random. It follows scripts, invisible scripts running in the background of your psyche. Some people are the hoarder archetype. They accumulate but never enjoy. Money equals security, so spending triggers existential dread. Others are the saboteur. They create success, then destroy it. Because on some level, they don't believe they deserve to keep it. There's the martyr, who associates money with selfishness. The gambler, who needs risk to feel alive. The innocent, who believes money corrupts. These aren't personality types. They're operating systems. Unconscious strategies your psyche uses to navigate the world of resources. And until you identify which script is running, you're acting out a pattern you didn't choose. You're following stage directions written by forces you can't see. This is why techniques work for some people and not others. Because the technique is surface level, the archetype is foundational. If your unconscious archetype is the victim, no amount of manifestation will override it. Because the victim's function is to prove that the world is hostile and success is impossible. You're not failing at the techniques. The techniques are failing to address the layer that actually matters. The archetypal operating system. The deep structure. Here's what this means for you. Right now, in this moment, your financial reality is a perfect mirror of your self-image and your unconscious archetype. Not your goals. Not your vision board. Your actual internalized beliefs about who you are and what you're allowed to have. And those beliefs aren't you. They're programming. Old code running on outdated hardware. Most of it installed before you were 7 years old, before you had critical thinking, before you could choose. But here's the thing. Once you see the mechanism, you can't unsee it. Once you understand that your reality is being generated from inside, not imposed from outside, the game changes. Because now you know where to look. Not at the external circumstances, at the internal blueprint. The esplanania, the manifestation, the shift. It doesn't start with action. It starts with state, with resolving the internal contradiction. When you release the guilt around having too much, when you stop equating your worth with your suffering, when you extract yourself from the inherited stories about what money means and who deserves it, that's when the filters change. Your brain stops screening out opportunities. It stops amplifying obstacles. You start seeing solutions where you used to see walls, not because reality changed, because your perceptual apparatus changed. Your self-image gave permission, and suddenly the actions you take actually lead somewhere, because they're no longer being undermined by a hidden system working against you. The internal and external finally align. This isn't about positive thinking. This is about psycho-cybernetics, about understanding that you're a self-regulating system, and that system will always move toward the target it's been given. But most people never examine what target their subconscious is actually locked onto. They think they're aiming at wealth while their self-image is aimed at survival, at staying small, at proving the old story right. And the self-image always wins, because it's deeper, it's older, it has root access. So the real question isn't, what do I want? The real question is, what does my self-image believe I'm allowed to have? And which unconscious archetype is writing my financial script? Answer those, and everything else becomes workable. Ignore them, and you'll keep hitting the same ceiling. Different jobs, different strategies, same result. Because you're trying to override the operating system with applications. And that's not how systems work. This isn't a bug in your psychology. It's a feature of how consciousness operates. The mechanism is neutral. It just executes the program. But you've been running someone else's code, old code. Survival code designed for a reality that no longer exists. The question is, are you ready to rewrite it? Because once you understand the mechanism, you can't pretend you don't. Once you see that your reality is being generated from your self-image, you're responsible for what that self-image contains. You can't unsee this, and that changes everything. Now you have a choice. The red pill, you subscribe, you stay with me. We go deeper. I'll show you the mechanisms that control 99% of people. You'll learn what cannot be unseen, and your reality will never be the same again. The blue pill. You close this video. You return to your old life, to your old beliefs, to the same ceiling you'll keep hitting, pretending you don't know why. The like. That's your signature on a contract with yourself. Your commitment to stop ignoring the mechanisms, to stop pretending you're blind. The choice is yours. But remember, after this, there's no going back. I'll be waiting for you on the other side.